Slay 11.
Slay 11.
Shaun of the Dead.
Shaun of the Dead, one of my faves. You got
It's
red
a
on you.
classic. Got red on you. It's a classic. One of my, not one of he is the favorite director of all time for me. Edgar Wright is my favorite director of all time. Uh, he made this classic trilogy. This is the first in the Blood and Cornetto trilogy, uh, including Hot Fuzz and The World's End. Um, Whenever somebody says they haven't seen Shaun of the Dead, I'm like, how? How have you not seen Shaun of the Dead? Like, it's one of
Right.
those things that, like, especially when October hits, like, if you're somebody who usually has Comedy Central on, like, they would play Shaun of the Dead on Comedy Central like nonstop in October, uh, and for good reason
For
because
very
it's
good
hilarious.
reason. No, it was one of those movies that came out during the zombie craze.
Hmm.
Because what was it? The Zack Snyder movie
Yeah, Dawn of the Dead came out
Dawn
the
of the
same
Dead.
year.
When that came out, it seemed like that just brought upon wave of all these new zombie movies and people going crazy. And Shaun of the Dead was one of them.
Yeah,
And I remember at first I wasn't really fucking with. Excuse me, wasn't really fucking with it because I don't know, English comedy and me very hit or miss. You know what I'm
yeah.
saying?
Hmm.
So I was always like, yeah, I don't know, but I gave it a try because I was like, I like zombies though,
Hmm.
and I thank God I did. One of my most favorite now to watch, even when it's not
Oh yeah,
fucking Halloween. I love just anytime this movie's on, it's like, yeah, we're gonna let
yeah.
this one play
Oh
out.
yeah. If it's on TV, I'm gonna be like, yeah, I'm gonna watch Shaun of the Dead.
Yeah, we're gonna get to the Winchester.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's why Edgar Wright is one of my favorite directors. Is his attention to detail, and with every single movie that he's made, I have noticed something new every single time I watch these movies. Like, there's so many hidden details and stuff in his movies that you're bound to find new things every single time you watch it. I know one of my favorite facts from the movie is that in one of the opening scenes. What's his name? What's the buddy's name in this? Shaun and oh, that's gonna bug the shit out of me.
I'd like to say it's like starts with a K, maybe.
We yeah, I got it. I got it. I got it. I got it. I know it's Nick Frost's character,
Yeah,
Ed. He's
and
Ed.
that's it.
That's
I
right.
said I was way off.
Not a K. Not a K.
Not at all a K.
Um, there's a scene when they're in the bar near the beginning, and Ed breaks down the entirety of the movie during that conversation. Where he's like, here's the plan, here's what we're gonna do. Grab a Bloody Mary, do this, do that, blah blah blah. Like, and then he goes through this whole thing, and that's all of the events of the movie that take place moving forward. And I thought that was a cool little, but it's just that kind of shit in Edgar Wright movies that you will totally miss, and it's always something to find, whether it's his sound design or his editing, like just the way like he utilizes every single element of filmmaking to tell a story, and I love that about him.
Hmm.
Uh, I love his callback humor. I definitely took a little bit of that in this past episode that came out on Friday, episode 5, with the whole. There's like 7 fucking people at this camp, Shaun. Like it's very much like an Edgar Wright thing, where like you will always hear a joke and then hear it again, like in his movies. Like they will always bring it back at some point if you're paying attention. Uh, the opening scene, like when the zombies come and stuff, and he just goes to the store like any other day. I mean, it's great.
There's
It's
just so
definitely.
many in this whole movie. There's just so many really good scenes to me that are just that I think of. Like to me, one of my favorite scenes is, I believe, from the scene you were just kind of talking about, where
Mhm,
Sean and his girlfriend break up and they're at the bar drinking,
mhm.
and Sean's just not having a good time, and that real sappy song comes on, and the way he like looks up, just pain in his eyes. Every time I lose it at
On
that part.
random.
Yeah, no, and I love it because it's just like,
Who put this on?
yeah, you just buy, and it's such a good buddy movie, and that's like,
Yeah.
all in all, like when you get to the end of this, you realize that a lot of this is just like a movie about two buddies
Hmm.
and it just happens to take place during a zombie
Right.
apocalypse.
I love that it's marketed as like a zombie romantic comedy, but really it's a bromance
Yeah,
like story, like it very much so. And
through and through.
I love the way, I like the end scene where he still has Ed and they still play video games and he's just chained up in the tool shed. Like
Yeah,
I love it.
I did the first time. Like I said, the first time I watched it when we got there, you're like, "Fuck yeah, okay, like let's fucking go." Because, not, like I said, there's just so many good. One of my most favorite scenes in this will always be though, uh, at the end when they're all in the bar and they hit the jukebox on,
The
and they're all,
Queen, yeah.
yeah, and they're all just hitting in cadence into it.
Hmm. Well,
Uh,
I feel like that scene was like a precursor to Edgar Wright's. I guess it's not his most recent movie anymore, but he did Baby Driver a few years ago, and I feel like that scene in Shaun of the Dead was like a precursor to the entirety of Baby Driver, which is just all set to music, and all the sound design being like, like you said, just in cadence with everything that's going on. That's always been something that he seems to have fun with. I love that he uses the same actors in all three movies, even outside of the main two that are the obvious ones. Like Martin Freeman is in all three of them in various roles. Um, I believe. I don't know. There's several. I think Bill Nye is in all three of them. Not the science guy, the actor guy. Uh, he plays Phil in this one, and then he's the police chief in Hot Fuzz, and then he's the voice of the alien like overlord in World's End. So they bring back actors a lot, and I really love that. And for those of you that don't know what a cornetto is, it's an ice cream cone. And that's why the trilogy is called the Blood and Cornetto trilogy. And in each one of the movies, there is a cornetto. So like when he goes to the store, and he's like, "Ed, you want anything?" He's like, "Cornetto," and he's like, "Okay." And so in Shaun of the Dead, he gets like a red, like a strawberry flavored one for horror. In Hot Fuzz, it's blue for cop movies, and the third one, it's green for alien movies. So there's a little fun fact for you. I don't even have to look this shit up. I just know this stuff.
Bada boom, he got it right off the head. Not
Um,
like
the scene, where he's breaking it all down, the plan, it's a classic, kill Phil, grab mom, get lids,
I do, and
go
I
to the
like that. I
Winchester,
like that scene and how they like show all every
uh-huh.
time. It's it's
Yeah.
it's a
Another
it's a
another
classic.
classic Edgar Wright thing, which Edgar Wright was originally supposed to direct Ant-Man, and he still like got credited as like one of the screenwriters. And I think where you can really see that Edgar Wright was going to make that movie is the scenes in Ant-Man where Louise is telling his stories and it's like jumping like that. It's like that's some Edgar Wright shit, like for sure. Like that's definitely his style. And
Through
the
and
one
through.
line I quote from this movie all the time is Liz, like, bye, bye, bye. I love it. And like nobody ever seems to understand what the fuck I'm referencing when I do that, which I find hilarious. Uh,
It's how they talk over there, man. I believe. Could be
here's a
wrong.
fact for you. It says Simon Pegg and Edgar Wright considered a sequel that would replace zombies with another monster, but decided against it as they were pleased with this movie as a standalone product. Uh, and thought too many characters died to continue the story. The proposed title was From Dusk Till Shaun. Uh, and it says the movie did have an afterlife because a mock up poster for it can be seen in the film Spider Man Into the Spider Verse. If you look in the background, there's a From Dusk Till Shaun poster.
Interesting. The only like interesting fact I know from it is Left 4 Dead 3 was supposed to be Shaun of the Dead.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, the game. And you were supposed to be able to go to the Winchester and shit like that at the time when they were going to make it. I believe it's that. And they made one in some, I think, The Walking Dead or some zombie game,
Hmm.
um, Land of the Dead or something. They did end up making like a mod that you could play that was like Shaun of the Dead.
That's what's up. Of course, obviously, the movie was very inspired by like George Romero's zombie movies, and the classic line from Night of the Living Dead. "We're coming to get you, Barbara," or "They're coming to get you, Barbara," is done in this movie, where Shaun's on the phone with his mom, and then Ed takes the phone. And he's like, "We're coming to get you, Barbara." Hangs up the phone. But yeah, it's the window gag makes me laugh every time. Where he's like, "I'm gonna climb up," and the just intense like looking at the window, and then the buzzer rings. He's like, "Can you let me in?"
Yeah. But he does make it.
Yeah, but that's just one of those things that uh, you know. Oh, here's a here's a fun fact. Nick Frost, who played Ed, allegedly kept his genitals shaved throughout the production to create a genuine need to scratch that the character demanded. I did not know that. That's pretty funny.
Clever.
Yeah, I know that's one of those movies where, if you you can find something every time. If you want to learn trivia for days, this is the movie for you for sure, because there's just so many little bits and gags throughout the whole movie. Uh, let me skip to the bottom here. There's tons of facts. Oh, see, like shit like this when Pete is yelling at Ed for waking him up with the electro music, he drops the line, "You want to live like an animal? Go live in the shed," which foreshadows exactly what happens at the end of the movie, where Ed is living in the shed. A lot of shit like that in an Edgar Wright movie. So it doesn't matter what it is, whether it's Shaun of the Dead, Hot Fuzz, Scott Pilgrim, any of those movies, you will always find these hidden details, like through and through.
Through and through.
And
I love it.
it's just a classic.
What would you score this classic?
Oh man, it's tricky. It's tricky. I've been just doling out 10 out of 10s. But in a weird way, Shaun of the Dead doesn't feel like a 10 out of 10 to me. But I would probably go 9 out of 10 for
Yeah,
this.
I agree.
Yeah.
I was thinking 9 out of 10.
Yeah.
So I agree.
It's like I'd be hard pressed to tell you why it's not a 10 out of 10. I just know it's not. It's a 9 out of 10 for sure.
Could have been longer.
Yeah. Yeah.
Could have been much longer, and I'd have given it a 10 out of 10.
I definitely watch more. Yeah.
All
It's a
right.
shame we'll never
me.
actually get any more of those movies. We did get sort of an additional movie with Paul, which had nothing to do with any of these, but it's still a fun movie. Little Seth Rogen in there, thrown into the mix.
Yeah.
It's a good time.
Maybe one day.
Maybe one day. Maybe one day. They
You
still
never know
do
what
shit
the
together.
future
Yeah.
will hold.
So yeah, Slay 11, Shaun of the Dead, just one of the best horror comedies of all time for sure.
Yeah.
9s all around.
Check it out.
What else should they check out?
ChasingShep.com.
Yeah.
It's spooky.
Slay 11, that'll do it. That'll do it.
Smooches.
Happy
and
Monday. See you guys tonight for a little mental health. Peace.